But do you think our system is designed to make you not love yourself?
Yes.
Can you talk about that a little bit? Because I think, honestly, like I grew up in the age of not social media. And then I also grew up, and now I'm living in the age of social media. So us as like the sandwich generation, you know, they say my generation, and maybe both of you guys a little bit too, is like, but especially me, because I'm from the 70s, right? We have boomer values because we did kind of like, I was like near the end of the boomers. The boomers ended in like 64, I think. So I was like maybe 12 years or 13 years after the boomer generation. But I also caught in onto the technology craze, right? So I'm not like a boomer that doesn't understand technology at all. And they're like, what is this computey thing? You know what I mean? Or this iPhone, you know, or this whatever. But I also have the values. But so growing up in both generations, I can see now where like when I was growing up, like if you screwed up, it's not like all over the internet. You know what I mean? Like people can't shame you. It's like just your little group of friends and that's it, you know?
Yeah.
But what's your opinion on, because you talked about self-love, which is very, very important, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons why there's a lot of divorce. I think that's one of the reasons why, I mean, just the way things are now, like talk about OnlyFans and all this kind of stuff, like, you know, I think it doesn't allow you to love yourself, or you figure it out much later in life. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like especially as a young person, and for me it all starts in conditioning, right? It depends on like the values and the experiences that any child will have during conditioning. So
okay, I agree 100%.
Yeah, during conditioning, and this is really just on my own personal experience and my observations of my friends. I have a lot of friends who have kids, right? And there's not a lot of instances where parents will like really like get down face to face with their kid and say, you know, and explain like certain behaviors or certain actions, right? And an example, so on Monday I went over to my friend's house for Labor Day, and her little girl, so it was her aunt and her daughter, and her aunt asked her daughter if she wanted some water, and the daughter like yelled at her like really aggressively, like, no, I don't want any water. Just like got heck of mad. And they were like, whoa, they're like, this was crazy. And instead of saying, hey, why, like where did that come from, or are you angry, right, are you upset, you know, if you don't dissect the reason for the action, then you give judgment, right, you give judgment to the child, and you say, oh, this child, she has an attitude, you know, or this child, she doesn't know how to speak well, or she's, you know, malcriada in Spanish, so not mal-educated, right, or not raised well. And so it's interesting that like we really don't give our children the tools to think introspectively, because they understand the world in accordance to the other, right? In accordance to, like me. So one thing that I'm working through in my adulthood is people pleasing. And I've realized in my recent past that I grew up, my whole entire life has basically been people pleasing, right? And it starts with my parents. Because I never wanted my parents to be mad at me. I never wanted them to be upset with me. So what did I do? I tried to do everything to make them happy. Everything to make them proud. Everything, you know, that's why I went to the schools that I went to. That's why I got the grades that I got, because I wanted to make them happy. But did anybody ever ask me what the hell I wanted to do? No.
But you did, right? You asked yourself.
Yeah. I asked myself, and I knew. But, you know, when you're little, you feel powerless. You know, you feel helpless.